So JJK has some pretty evil characters.
Known as evil! What can we do?
So today I'm going to make a tier list on the characters and their crimes, all the way from mass murder, all the way down to did nothing wrong / stuff like tax evasion or property destruction. There will be no rhyme or reason to the order of this, and there is going to be manga spoilers, so jump away now. So let's start with Toji. I know everyone loves Toji, but first of all, he beats the shit out of his son right here. He just absolutely pummels him. He also straight up abandons his son, and I know he had no money to be paying child support. We can also tack on animal abuse because he kills plenty of Shikigami rabbits in the scene and just seems to not really care. So this is definitely a domestic assault and animal abuse. Continuing with the animal abuse, he absolutely annihilates Geto's rainbow dragon. You know, that was super cool dragon, but now it's dead. Along with the dragon, he also mercilessly beats this octopus to death as well that also did nothing wrong. You know, he hates the sea life, he hates wildlife in general. And yeah, this poor octopus, Toji, just absolutely pummels. He stabs it in the head to death. And it's just unfortunate to see how much of a criminal Toji is. You know, he's just beating up these innocent creatures. Besides the killing of wildlife, we can't forget that Toji also shot a, 14-year-old girl in the head. So yeah, that's just straight up murder. And I like Toji as much as the next guy, but can't be defending this. So with that, I think we're going to have to put Toji up in life in prison. Next, I want to bring up Mei Mei. Obviously, she's evading taxes and doing all sorts of financial fraud. But I think more concerning is her relationship with Wee Wee. There is definitely some incest vibes going on here, and they're just getting real freaky, and I really didn't like that. So I changed the categories, but yeah, she is going up into the new felon category. Gojo is someone who goes out of his way to save people, but we cannot deny the property destruction that he causes when he unleashes his attacks. And specifically, I'm talking about Hollow Purple and Blue and Red, because he is destroying stuff all the time. And a lot of the time, it even makes sense why he's destroying stuff, like he's trying to snuff out Toji when he's using Blue here, but that can't excuse his behavior, so we're going to put him in property destruction, even though I think Gojo can do no wrong. I don't think this scene with Todo is talked about enough, because he attacks Megumi for simply being boring and not liking his answer for his opinion of his favorite type of woman. So yeah, he beats the shit out of Megumi, and I feel like this is assault. Like, you can't just do that. Of course, he does it anyways because he's Todo. But yeah, he beats the shit out of him, and it's pretty much for no reason. So I do think that Todo belongs in the domestic assault or the assault category. So next up on our list is the King of Curses, or Sukuna, and I feel like I don't even have to talk about him. Like, it's obvious mass murder. He destroys everything, and that's just in his nature, you know? He comes out and he kills people and he destroys stuff. So let's just look at some of the clips of him just destroying stuff. See, he's slicing people in half, he's killing people, but I think the most damaging attack that he has is Fuga, and I just want to play a clip of that because we all know what its domain does to the city. So I actually looked up the density of Shibuya quick, which says about 15,000 people per square kilometer, and with Sukuna's domain being shortened, I calculated only about 1,000 people dying in this, but I can't believe that based off the anime. I mean, look at this, like, definitely more than 1,000 people died. And yeah, he's the King of Curses, mass murderer. He's going up into the mass murderer tier. Next up on our list is Mr. Suguru Geto, and although he has a more nuanced take behind mass murder, it is still mass murder. You cannot forgive it, and yeah, he does that, and he may have his reasoning for it, but at the end of the day, it's not going to stack up in the court of law. He really does lose sight of the plot, and I think being kind of the cult leader he becomes does not help him in any way. Obsession with hating non-sorcerers is just going too far. You know, he calls them monkeys, kind of like this guy, and he just goes way too far with it. You may not know this, but Geto actually started his killing spree in the Hidden Inventory arc by killing his parents, which is just despicable. And I mean, you know, he started as a hero, but he finishes as a mass murderer, and that is where he belongs on this list. He's up there with Sukuna. While we're talking about Geto, we might as well talk about Kenjaku as well. And he gets that domestic terrorism charge. He orchestrated the Shibuya incident and the Culling Games, which are both horrible. And these events practically ruined Japan for the next, I don't know, like 100 years. It's just absolutely destroyed, pretty much because of Kenjaku. Much like Toji, Kenjaku was not paying child support for Yuji and all of his other brothers that were freak experiments, so this has got to go on that freaky tier. Of course Kenjaku's going to end up higher, but he was doing weird shit the entire story. And we have to give Kenjaku the impersonation charge as well. Of course, this just fits his character perfectly because he does impersonate people all the time. And we don't really know how he, impersonates some of the people, like Yuji's mom, Kaori. He probably killed her to take her body over to make Yuji, which is just another level of messed up. Lengths this man went to for his plan. He even took back shots. I haven't even brought up Kenjaku's history inside of Noritoshi Kamo, who is literally referred to as the most evil sorcerer in history. And no, not this Noritoshi Kamo. Kenjaku in this body was responsible for making all the death painting wombs, which he did through horrible experiments. So in Choso's case, he actually mixed a cursed spirit, a woman's body, and his own blood, so Noritoshi Kamo's blood, into the same womb, creating the beast that Choso is. These experiments are why he's considered so evil, but I'm sure he was up to more nefarious things as Noritoshi Kamo, but the death paintings are kind of what he's famous for. Penny is really behind all of the misfortune that befalls most characters in JJK, so I really do think we have to put him in the highest tier. He is probably the most evil villain on this list, so let's put him up where he belongs on this list, into mass murder with Geto and his friend Sukuna. I'll bring up Hikari briefly because he hasn't really done anything wrong, but there was no way he was paying tax on his fight club, and the illegal fighting ring definitely had some sus stuff going on, so I think it's safe to say we can put him up in the tax evasion tier. Now I want to talk about Naobito Zenin because, he drinks in public, which don't we all? I can't really blame him for that. But more concerningly is he talked about buying Megami when he was a kid, obviously because he wanted the 10 Shadows technique, but buying kids definitely puts you up in the felony category at the very least, so we gotta put him up there just because of that. Next up is Naoya Zenin, and I think people would want me to put him pretty high up, and I generally agree, he's a piece of shit. He really hates women, big W there. But other than that, he talks some really weird shit about Maki and Mai, who are apparently 16 years old at this time, and he is a 27-year-old. It's also implied after he turns into a cursed spirit that he may have assaulted Mai in some sort of way, which just is unforgivable, and he's just a piece of shit. So he's going to the life in prison tier. I don't think he belongs, any lower than this. One character you've definitely been waiting for on this list is Mahito. He's obviously a mass murderer, but we gotta talk about specifically what he did. So for starters, he kills Nanami, of course, which is horrible. He blows Nobara's eye out, and thankfully she doesn't die if you're caught up. He of course corrupts and kills Junpei, which was also just one of the most heinous events of the series. But the sheer amount of people he just kills to use as either weapons or transfigure into transfigured humans, he has such a high kill count and he has no regard for life whatsoever, so that is why he is joining the other three villains at the top of the list. I also want to quickly throw Wee Wee onto this tier list. Even though he was groomed probably, he's still a little freaky and just weird, so I'm putting him in the freaky tier. Haruta is another character that just kills on a whim, although I don't really think he's a mass murderer tier. He's definitely life in prison. He really enjoys what he does. He has a lot of fun stabbing people and just killing people in general. So yeah, he's getting that life in prison, although I wish to see him dead, just like Sukuna. So at this point, I think I've covered a lot of the characters that I wanted to talk about. So now we're going to fill in the did nothing wrong with just some characters. I'm not going to do all of them because there's a lot of the characters on this tier list that did nothing wrong. So we got Toge, Panda, Yuji, Nobara, Nanami, put Kusakabe on there, Ino of course, Haibara, Momo did nothing wrong, I guess. Megamaru definitely did. Nida did nothing wrong. Megami, he's caused some property destruction with Maharaga, so he's going there. He getting that property destruction as well with her black hole antic. We're gonna put Gakuganji up in Felon because he killed Yaga and did some other bad stuff. Same with Mekamaru. He was plotting against people, even though he made up for it. Still a felon. Yaga, we're putting in Assault because he had that bear punch Yuji. Urame, of course, is going life in prison. Wouldn't say she's a mass murderer, but life in prison fits her well. Joe Goat is getting that mass murder because he was killing hella people. Same with Dagon. I'd say Hanami gets life in prison. I don't think Hanami was like going out of its way to kill humans, but still obviously was. As much as I love Choso, he's gotta go life in prison. He was also killing hella people in Shibuya. Gege is ultimately responsible for all of these deaths, so he's also going to mass murderer. And to finish this, I think Riko deserves the did nothing wrong, because she really did do nothing wrong. And there's plenty of other characters that fit in that category, or anywhere in between as well. But for the time being, this is my tier list. I just wanted to make this because there are some wild crimes that these characters have committed, and I just wanted to get them on paper. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. I can do other tier lists as well, but I thought this would just be kind of a lighthearted one, even though a lot of these characters are pure evil, but you know, wanted to rank their crimes, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.